I mean, ever since everything been going on, I've just been trying to work out in the mornings, get some running on the levee, or go to the football facility at LSU. The outside field's still open, so usually go out there and do some drills, footwork, do some running, just doing everything I can to stay in shape. Also, just doing little in-home workouts, ab workouts, push-ups, just everything I can.
Now I know, obviously, being at LSU, you've seen a lot of guys go through this process. The last 3 years. How different is it from what you've seen some of your former teammates go through? How different has this been for you?
Yeah, it's completely different because now we're in a situation where we never know when football is going to be back. You never know when everything's going to be back to normal. So and pro days canceled and all that. So it's a lot different from the past years. Obviously, you just got to do all you can just to be ready because the mindset I'm having. Once football does come back, who knows when that is, but once it does come back, nobody's gonna really care, that we didn't have access to a weight room or everything was going on because, when they draft you, they expect you to perform. So, my mindset is, nobody cares, just keep working, because when you get there, when it's time to show, you got to perform.
And you talked about pro day obviously being canceled. Was that disappointing for you? Because you're one of the prospects that you got to do the Senior Bowl, you got to do the combine, so you had already on top of the game film had a pretty big chance to be in front of the scouts. But was it disappointing?
Yeah, definitely. Especially at the combine, because at the combine I pulled my hamstring, and so I wasn't able to do the drills. So I wanted to go out and show people that I'm healthy, and that I can do everything they need me to do. But yeah, it was definitely disappointing for myself. But really, it was even more disappointing for the guys who didn't get a combine invite or weren't at the Senior Bowl. I know those guys were ready to show out and show what they can do. So just think about them. Those guys were ready, and it just sucks for those guys.
All right. And then talking about the draft process as a whole, have you been hearing from a lot of teams, and how have you been communicating with them?
Yeah, I've had a good bit of FaceTime meetings on Skype or Zoom, and it's basically meeting with the O line coach, meeting with staffs, just talking football. I did a lot of the stuff at the Senior Bowl and the Combine, so I haven't had as many as other guys. So, but I mean, it's been a good process. Been just taking it, one day at a time. Just being myself in the interviews and just enjoying the whole process.
And what's sort of been some of the feedback you've been getting?
Uh, well, I mean, you never really know, what team you're gonna go to until the day of. It's been quite a bit of teams that need interior guys and are showing interest. But I mean, it's looking like maybe early second round, somewhere in the second round. Hopefully, we just have to see it on the 23rd. So we're not really sure yet.
And when you have these FaceTime or these the Zoom conversations with the scouts, what are you trying to kind of get across to them? Because I know obviously you're trying to sell yourself to a team. Say, hey, I'm a guy you need to bring in. What have you been trying to get across to them? Because obviously you're not getting that face-to-face meeting and you're not getting the tour of the facility. So what are you trying to tell them?
Really, I'm just trying to show that I'm an accountable guy, and really just show off my knowledge of the game. I feel like I know the game of football, and if I could just show that off in front of these coaches and scouts, it'll be great for me. Being a center, you have to know not only your job but the whole offense, and the whole concept of what's going on. So I'm really just trying to show that off and just be myself. I've gotten this far just being myself, respecting everyone, being the person that I am. So in these meetings, that's all I'm trying to do. Just be myself, just be respectful, and show my knowledge of the game.
And you talk about showing your knowledge of the game. What's a way you can do that? Are you trying to crack their playbooks open, watching some film? How are you doing that?
Yeah, we usually just watch film of of this past year at LSU, and I basically just talk through the whole game. What was our game plan going into this game? What's the concept? Why did I make this call? Just showing off that I knew the playbook at LSU, and it wouldn't be a problem for me to pick up a playbook on the next level.
And then, what are some of the, I guess, sort of the more stranger and not even weird, but questions you weren't expecting that you are getting from the scouts and the coaches?
Uh, I haven't had anything weird. Like in past years, you hear about these weird questions. I haven't really had anything, too weird. It's basically, now with the FaceTime meetings, it's basically the same thing on repeat. Same questions, his background, how you grew up, mom, dad, brother, sister, everything. So it's basically the same stuff on repeat. I haven't had anything weird though.
All right. And then I know, obviously, at LSU, you were one of the team leaders. Do they ask you about your teammates at all? Since, you're kind of like, you were kind of one of the spokesmen for the team last year. Do they kind of ask you about your teammates?
Yeah, definitely. Especially if it's a team that they have a specific need at a position, they may ask me about another guy on the team, just what type of person they are, not just about the player, just how they are off the field. And I try to vouch for all my teammates. They're all great guys, so I try to do all I can to put them in a great position.
You trying to get an agent's cut out of that, like little finder's fee?
Just trying to help them out a little bit, man.
All right. And then obviously, I can't let you go without asking you, have you heard from the Saints? And, if you have, what can you tell us about that?
I met with the Saints at the Senior Bowl, and basically it was just, I'm in a room with the O-line coach, a few of their executives, and we just watching film. They taught me a play, and I had to teach it back to them, and that's the only time I met with them. I didn't meet them at the combine, so just at the Senior Bowl. But I'm not sure what their needs are in this draft, but I mean, if I ended up being a New Orleans Saint, I would definitely love that being home in Louisiana.
Have your people kind of been asking you that same question? Have you heard from the Saints or anything like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of my family Saints fans, and I know they would love that. But just have to wait and see what happens.
I know the ticket requests for you would probably jump up, probably even more than you had at LSU if you
Oh yeah,
if you made it over there.
it was a
Uh,
struggle getting tickets at LSU. So I know the Saints, and they'll be struggling.
when you look back at your recruitment, obviously coming out of Dutchtown uh, to now, did you see this playing out the way it has in terms of you going to LSU, winning the national championship, and now being one of the top interior offensive lineman prospects in the draft?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, not exactly how it went, but I did envision being successful and stuff working out. Even though I was the last signee, last guy to get off or whatever, I never really paid too much attention to that because I knew, once we got on campus, all that was out the window, and all I had to do was put in work. So, and I knew, I wasn't gonna, it wasn't gonna be too long before I got on the field. I knew I was gonna redshirt my freshman year, but as I got, better, I knew I was gonna end up being a starter and being successful. And that was just my plan. I never really had a backup plan or plan B. Just had to work. So I just put in work and just never looked back.
Have you had time to kind of reflect on all of that? Obviously, your journey into where it culminated this last January.
Yeah. As of recent, with a lot of downtime, I've tried, thought about it a little bit because when you're in it, you're not really thinking. You're just going, looking forward to the next thing. But with all this downtime, I have, thought about some of the things, we did as a team, some of the things I did as an individual at LSU. And I just hope, we as a team and myself, left a mark that, and set a standard that, the younger guys could try to reach and live up to. I mean, it was a great journey, and I look forward to, chasing some more dreams on this next level.
And then you talked about the downtime. How are you feeling it when you're not doing workouts and not being on the phone with coaches and scouts?
Yeah. So I mean, after workouts, pretty much, man, I'm just chilling at my apartment, playing a little Xbox, but still just trying to do as much as I can, watch some film, just stay in that football mode, trying to stay ready.
Not binge watching anything?
Uh, I need to start watching All American season 2, but as of recent, I've just been playing a lot of Madden.
All right. Who do you use on Madden?
Really depend on who I'm playing against. Right now I'm in a little franchise with fantasy draft. So if I'm playing normal teams, it depends on who I'm playing against.
All right. So that's one of the ways you showing the scouts, I'm strategizing. I'm counteracting what they're doing.
Yeah,
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us.
no problem.
And good luck in a couple weeks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.